Folks, just sue them. That'll fix everything. Let me talk about that and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending January 24th, 2024. Lots of you have subscribed. Thank you for that. But many of you watch this content every week and you've not yet subscribed. Consider subscribing. So let me tell you this story the way it was told to me by the buyer. So this gentleman bought a property in the last market where everybody was, well, I'm saying everybody, but a high percentage of people were buying with no conditions, multiple offers, everywhere. So he bought this property. Again, no financing condition, no home inspection condition, closed on it, was getting home ready to move in. They're cleaning, they're painting, some small renovations. And while they were painting, they noticed a crack in one of the ceilings on the, now this was on the main floor, and open concept. The home had been renovated before they purchased to open concept, and this is what they actually really loved about the house. So while they're painting, they noticed a crack in the ceiling. They spoke to their listing, to their buying agent about it. The buying agent called the listing agent, and the listing agent told them it's a non-progressive crack. That's the way it was explained to me. That's what I'm telling you now. But he had already closed. I mean, it's his house now. He's on title, and they moved on. They continued to paint. And in the early stages of living there, one of his friends came over to visit to see their new house. This friend happened to be a structural engineer and noticed the crack. And they were talking about the crack, and his friend says, there's something going on here that's not that simple. And through further investigation, turns out a load-bearing wall was removed, and the ceiling was actually buckling a little bit, which would have probably gotten worse as time went on. And so this puts the buyer in a very bad situation. They bought a home with no inspection conditions, no conditions, almost in a sense, no warranties or no pre-warning that there's this issue. And so what do? Naturally, let's sue. And not a week goes by on this channel here that comments below the solution is just sue. Sue the agent, sue the seller, sue the buyer, just sue. That's the answer to the problems. Well, I can tell you this buyer went through that process of suing, figured the seller should have known, or they removed the load-bearing wall like somebody knew or somebody did something that they shouldn't have done on purpose and didn't inform the buyer. This is a defect that really affects the enjoyment and living in that property. And so they tried to sue. And they started the process. They paid a $5,000 retainer to a litigation lawyer. You can't use a regular real estate lawyer to sue, or most regular real estate lawyers that handle the closings, they normally don't get into litigation. So you'll find a litigation lawyer if you're planning to sue in real estate. And that's what he did. Paid a $5,000 retainer, started the process, and quickly learned this is going to take a long time. It's going to take a ton of money. They had already, because they had to, they're moving into this house, they had already sorted out the structural issue by a bunch of renovations and a metal beam being put in there. So they sorted out their problem. It cost a ton of money, and that's what they were suing for. But he quickly figured out, man, is it really worth it? And the seller, he learned, had moved out of province. And it's like, even if we win, are we going to be able to recover any money? Even if we win, how much money are we going to be spending? Is it even worth it? And he decided to pull out, thinking, even if I win, there's a chance I won't recover the money. Even if I win, we're talking several years of this process. It's not a, let me sort this out and sue, and in a couple of months we have a judgment. So I'm saying this because when you're living through this, the automatic knee-jerk reaction sometimes that we get of, I'm going to sue, might not be the right choice. Even if you're right, even if you're going to win, it might not be worth it still. And I've seen scenarios on both ends where even when somebody I know won the judgment and they've collected some money after so many years, they've said to me straight, if I would have known then what I know now, I wouldn't have gone through with this. I would have just taken my loss and moved on. So just sue is not always the answer. Many times it is, many times it is not. If this video can help somebody you know, pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Up here, there's a link to my calendar. Below in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, at the end of this video, check out this awesome detached property for sale in Mississauga. Now, generally speaking, across the GTA, buyers have come out. They're looking, they're shopping, they're ready to buy. Let's see how that translates through the Peel and Durham region. Let's get started. Here's a quick summary of a bunch of different cities across the GTA. York region, and this is average sold prices for detached properties only. We got York region up top, Richmond Hill, Vaughan, and Markham. The highest, Richmond Hill, at an average sold price of $1,952,000. Then we have Toronto in the middle at $1,573,000. Then Mississauga, Brampton, and Durham. Between Mississauga and Toronto, average sold price, there's a $76,000 difference. It's not that much. It's usually more, but it's not that much for week ending January 24th. But this is about Peel and Durham, so let's focus on that. Mississauga, Brampton, coming out of the new year, now that we're into our third full week, we can see for Mississauga, prices have been trending up. Again, this is for detached properties. Brampton, average prices have been trending up. Durham, it's kind of hard to tell which way it's going right now. We're going to start off with Mississauga. 29 detached properties were sold. 2 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is $1,497,000. I got a bunch of arrows here. I'm showing trends from going back a year now. Many of these are seasonal. Many of these trends are affected by market conditions, but let's have a look. Coming out of the new year last year, sales increased all the way to mid-May. Then they started coming down. There was a little bit of a spike over the fall period here where sales kind of sort of went up a little bit, but then they started trending down again all the way to the end of the year. And now they're trending up, which is kind of what happened last year. Average sold price followed kind of the same line. Average sold price was trending up till about the middle of May. Then it started trending down. But in this peak here for the fall, prices kind of started trending up a little bit again. But overall, if we look at the whole most of the year, since May, average prices were trending down, and now they're trending up again. Many of the cities, many of the communities, much of the GTA follows this kind of pattern. So now we're sitting at $1,497,000, and every week since the new year, average sold price has been inching up. This is for Mississauga, detached properties only. Compared to last year, 1,497 is 5% higher than where we were this time a year ago. Median price is 11% higher than where we were this time a year ago. Median price is sitting at $1,420,000. 29 were sold, 28% sold at list price or more. That percentage looks like it's trending up. Listings, I would have expected more listings, but we're not seeing that. 50 detached properties were listed and months of inventory sitting at 2.1. Overall, looks like it may be trending down, but it's still, 1 week to the next, it actually went up since the previous week. Time will tell which way that's going to go. But right now, it's quite low at 2.1 months of inventory. And when I say quite low, in relation to, we got to get to 3 months approximately to be more of a balanced market. A buyer's market is more than 5 months. We're nowhere near a buyer's market. We're hovering at the top end of a seller's market right now. Days on market dropped from being in the 40s. We're sitting at 29 now as the average days on market. That's Mississauga. Brampton, 40 detached properties were sold, so sales hasn't changed from the previous week. One of those was at $2 million or more. Average sold price shot up to $1,203,000. If we kind of look back at the history, sales were going up to about April, and then for most of the year trending down. And average price kind of followed the same pattern, although it was flat for a while, overall trending up to about May, and then trending down for a good part of the year. Right now, average sold price, again, is $1,203,000. That's for Brampton, for detached properties only, for week ending January 24th. 1,203 is 2% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 0% lower. I round the numbers and you figure, what is it, 0% or is it lower? It's rounded at 0%, but it's just slightly lower. It's actually like a 0.1% lower, which rounds to 0%. I know, it's the way I do my numbers. 40 were sold, 30% sold at list price or more. 71 were listed. I would have expected to see listings increasing. Sometimes it doesn't happen on a weekly basis, but overall, I do expect more listings to be coming onto the market. Months of inventory staying steady at 1.9 months of inventory. Average days on market has dropped though from 40, 39, 32, now sitting at 27. Let's look at the Durham region. Now for Durham, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample for detached properties only. 36 were sold. None of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price sitting at $1,127,000. And when you get sales, such few sales and the sample is not so big, that's where you're going to get these high peaks and valleys. So 1,127 is the average sold price, which is 10% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 3% higher than where we were this time a year ago. 36 were sold, a third sold, 33% sold at list price or more. 50 were listed, so listings is creeping up a little bit. And months of inventory, extremely low, sitting at 1.1 months of inventory. Folks, I'm not sure how you see this, but this is a seller's market. That's the only way to understand 1.1 months of inventory. We see the percentage of properties selling at list price or more. That percentage is increasing. Here's a summary. 2.1, 1.9, 1.1. I've got condos here for reference sitting at 2.8, but we're pretty much in a seller's market. In some areas like Durham region, more of a seller's market. And I could see why the average price point is lower in Durham region than other parts of the GTA. So buyers will flock to that area and it gets competitive. People are out bidding, buyers are out bidding other buyers. More properties are being sold with a pricing strategy of an offer night, and they're getting the buyers in. So maybe you'll find some pockets of more of a balanced market. There's for sure still properties sitting out there and you're wondering, how can I say that? I see properties in my neighborhood not being sold. Yes, but the desirable properties, the ones with the right pricing strategy, are being sold quick, fast, with multiple offers. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Let me show you 1066 Livingston Crescent. This home is located in a very popular part of Mississauga, and it's a huge corner lot. Let me show you the inside. Most of this home has been updated for you. New floors, bathrooms, kitchen, windows, roof. Nothing to do but move in. You have 4 bedrooms upstairs and 2 more bedrooms in the finished basement with separate entrance. Have a look for yourself.